Well, for her views on the state of the economy, I'm now joined by Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, the chairman of Biocon and managing director of Biocon. Thanks, ma'am, very much for being with us. Do you expect the rupee to stabilize at 70, or do you see the free fall continuing?
You know, I'm not a soothsayer, but all I can say is that if you look at what is happening to the economy right now, obviously it reflects a total lack of investor confidence. And I think basically what is happening is that, you've pressed all the panic buttons at the same time. And I think at this point in time, no amount of any kind of measures is going to calm the situation. So I think, it's anybody's guess. You hear all kinds of predictions being made, but I'm not even going to react to any comment at this point in time. I think basically the government does need to see how they're going to appease these sentiments. And I really don't know what they're going to do, but there are certain measures they do need to take, which is about, looking at announcing at least some, policy measures that could bring in some investment in the export-oriented sectors. So I think that's where I see some kind of respite. I think we do need to look at, curbing mindless imports, because today what is happening is that this rupee escalation in terms of reaching these dizzy heights is really going to have a very far-reaching effect on inflation in every possible way. You are going to see, obviously oil prices are going to really hurt the common man. This is going to have an impact on everything, whether it is the food, food prices, or any price, any commodity, consumer product price or whatever. And I think one of the things we should really be, which would help, I think this is not the time to add to the deficit by announcing a food security bill.
Ma'am, that's an important point. You expect the food security bill then to be put on the back burner?
Well, anything that, makes sense to contain the deficit needs to be addressed. And I think although the food security bill is very well intended, is this the time to really take on such a huge financial burden for the economy? That's what I feel needs to be looked at, because there is going to be a huge impact on the current account deficit from the food security bill as well. So I don't know whether this is the right time to do it. And maybe if the government takes a few bold decisions and not necessarily vote bank decisions which are bold, I think something might happen to correct the economic mayhem that we are seeing.
Ma'am, realistically, do you see this happening? Because the food security bill is the flagship program of this government. The government seems to have indicated, and we see this in this session of Parliament as well, that come what may, the food security bill needs to be debated, it needs to go through. They've not even waited. Already in states like Haryana and in Delhi, it's been rolled out. So realistically, do you expect the government to actually roll back the food security bill or delay its induction?
Yeah, I don't expect it to happen, because right now no one is even focusing on the economy. Everyone's focusing on the elections. That's the sad reality. And therefore I'm not expecting anything to happen. In fact, even if you listen to what investor sentiments are, everyone is putting a hold on any investment till after the elections. So I think either you call for elections sooner than later, or you make some bold policy decisions that address the economy and not the elections.
Ma'am, the US economy is beginning to do well. They are tapering off their quantitative easing. In other words, the buying of bonds, which they've been doing for $85 billion every month, that's now going to progressively taper down. And this is expected to make things worse for India, because people who park their money in India may choose to take out their money and put it back in the US if the economy is being revived or is coming around over there. Just how bad are the developments in the United States for India?
Well, I think a stable US economy is good for everyone, and it's of course very important for the global economy. I mean, really, India needs to basically not really look at, what the impact of a stable US economy is going to be on bond buying, but rather I would look at the US saying, is this a time to really further strengthen our exports? I think our services exports are doing extremely well. Pharma exports can do very well, but every aspect of exports needs to be really focused on.
Ma'am, you're speaking about exports and how the situation might actually work to the benefit of those who export from India. But in the last 3 months, $12 billion have gone out of India to the US, and with dollars flooding out of the country, the rupee continues to slide further. It's gone below 65. Is there any real way out at this stage? Because you talk about policies, but what really is the way out? Any one particular way out?
Well, this is a very serious time for us. I mean, that the BRIC economy itself is, lost its flavor. And there is flight of capital from all these markets. And, unfortunately, India had the opportunity to at least be the darling of the BRIC economy, but we've just lost it. And so we are feeling the same kind of pressure as all the other BRIC, economies. So I really am very, very worried, and I mean, you're almost in a helpless situation. There's nothing that can be done, and I don't think anyone is going to take the right decision to revive the economy at this point in time, because the kind of measures that you have to take are not exactly election friendly.
One final question, ma'am. The government is set to push through a 35% tax rate for those earning more than 10 crores. This is apparently an effort to raise revenue and therefore bring down the fiscal deficit. Do you see this as a necessary move, or do you think that it's essentially a symbolic gesture?
These are such symbolic, meaningless measures. They're not going to even make a dent on the current economic situation. Personally, I believe the government is just trying to distract and take away the focus and attention from the real issues. Where are the land reforms? Where are the labor reforms? Where are the other reforms, and where is the infrastructure development? Nothing is being addressed today.